Hey everybody, my name is Brian Markowski, and today I'm going to be talking about global states of consciousness versus levels of consciousness. So consciousness is a topic that is still fairly unknown and often debated over. One of the main components of consciousness is that there are multiple levels of consciousness. Consciousness is typically broken down into global states and local states. Local states include imagery experiences, perceptual experiences, and current thoughts, while global states are not consciously experienced but rather characterized by different physiological and neurological states. Some examples include wakefulness, dreaming, hypnosis, and vegetative states. The main topic for this article is that research often equates these global states as levels of consciousness. However, the authors of this paper do not support this notion. Rather, they believe that global states are a way to organize and filter what enters our consciousness. For example, a vividly awake person allows for the passage of both complex and more basic features of objects into their consciousness, while someone undergoing a seizure would be limited to their more basic processes. But their argument is that they are still both on the same level of consciousness, that they're still fully conscious. So consciousness is typically graded on a scale from vivid wakefulness to unconsciousness. It has been hypothesized that infants have a lower level of consciousness than neurotypical adults. However, infants may just be unable to communicate certain experiences that human adults are able to, which is one of the arguments that the authors of this article makes, because they think that infants, they're on the same level of consciousness, they just aren't able to communicate some of the same things that adults are able to. The authors of this article believe in the standard perception of consciousness, which states that consciousness merely requires a subjective viewpoint. Therefore, consciousness cannot be a gradable phenomenon because someone either has a subjective viewpoint or they do not. The authors of this article suggest that someone could be aware of more things than someone else, but that does not make them more conscious. For example, a blind person might be conscious or aware of less visual stimuli, but that does not make them less conscious than someone who is not blind. Along those lines, it is hypothesized that a mildly sedated person is on the same level of consciousness as a fully awake person, but the fully awake person is just able to be more aware of certain stimuli. It seems that it is still unclear how global states of consciousness should be represented. However, proposing that they are equivalent to the levels of consciousness is an oversimplification.